Hi, I'm Emma, and you're watching My Birthway, and this is a video update about my immediate postpartum experiences. Really, the kind of the first week experiences, because I feel like there hasn't been too many new things changing since Uhtred, my son, was born a week ago today. Actually, a week ago today at 11:37 p.m. And he's here with me. He's just not on film. He's hanging out in his little rock and play right over there. He'll be in another video. But anyway, so postpartum has been actually easier than I expected, personally, so far. We're just a week in, but it's great because Jason has been home with me, and we've had my parents visiting some, because they live an hour away, and we've had his mom visit for a weekend. And it would be great if, she could have stayed for longer, but she's, busy and stuff. And my parents coming every couple days is really helpful too, because they can bring us something that we don't feel like good driving to get, like, oh, I need more adult diapers, that kind of thing. So I think the toughest part of the postpartum period for me was not the first night we came home, because we kind of came home at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. in the morning. And it would be the first 2 full days home. I think that was the hardest. My parents came and visited the first full day, and with the things that they helped us with was like super helpful. Like they washed some dishes and things like that and brought us food. And when we got here, they had left us food, stuff like that. That was really awesome. But even so, that was the toughest, because I was a lot more sore, my crotch region, than I am now. And my tailbone, I've noticed too, has been really sore. And actually it's more sore now than it was before, and the rest of me is less sore. But it's like, it really things got shifted around in there, with him coming through. And so my tailbone is pretty sore. And it's like, especially if I sit for a long time or certain angles, it's fine, but it's like, it just feels like, holy God, like I feel like when I stand up sometimes I'm like, teetering around like an 80-year-old person. So that's something I've noticed that's interesting. But the first few days were the toughest, I think, because we still were getting the hang of breastfeeding. And now it's going great, and I feel really happy with it. But the first 2 days were really tough because I don't think Uhtred really knew how to open his mouth wide enough at first. He was a little lazy-mouthed. And the lactation consultant confirmed that he wasn't really lazy-mouthed, but that he was not a wide mouth open baby. But after day 2, he learned to be that way. Like, he just figured it out. He got old enough, and I think one thing that made a difference was that I started to get milk. So usually you get milk, you switch from colostrum to milk from like 3 to 5 days. And when we went in for our 2-day appointment at the birth center, we took him, we saw the lactation consultant, we saw the nurse, they took his blood test, things like that. The lactation consultant said to me, you might, but also based on his poop color, you might be transitional already between colostrum and milk. And my mom said that she remembered that she transitioned pretty quickly too, after like day 2 or 3. So I think that happened with me. And so I think also coinciding with my milk coming in, I think helped him kind of get himself figured out. And he taught me more about what to do, because, I was really trying to get the latch right, and I was trying the best I could, and I was really close, and I was like right on the verge of knowing what to do, because I, know information, read books, seen videos, worked with women with it, talked to them about it, that kind of thing. But never done it myself, and it's different when you've never done it yourself. And the lactation consultant showed me just one little thing, and then I was like, oh, duh, okay, now I get it. And that really launched us on a path of nursing not hurting. And then I think my nipples just got tougher. And then I think he, with the milk coming in, realized hey, this is actually easier than I thought. And milk is really coming out well, because milk really is coming out well. I am definitely a leaky personality. I am wearing a tube top right now, but I have a 4-fold, a washcloth folded into 4, in front of each one. And I still have this huge wet spot on each side, especially if he cries a little. My boobs just start going, and then so he'll nurse from one. He likes to nurse from one and fall asleep and get snuggly, and then we'll do the other one the next time. He doesn't really like to switch. halfway through. He's content to drain a boob and go back for another one another time. So that's what we've been doing. But yeah, whenever we nurse from one side, the other side is also like, hello. And so I end up leaking a bunch. And so he and I are just in this sticky party together. It's really, really entertaining and fun. But he's gotten so good at nursing. And I probably have been pushing the envelope with places to nurse at, you know, just him being a week old now. And I think I was doing this when he was 4 days old. I was like, you know what, I'm nursing, I'm holding him now, I'm gonna go into the bathroom and pee while I'm doing this. And he stayed on and it worked. I'm gonna like try to put some dishes away while I'm holding him. I know you're supposed to rest, and I have been resting, but my personality is so like, let's get going. And I think I'm really happy to have my pre-pregnancy body back without swollen legs and stuff. And so I'm just ready to rumble. I mean, I'm sleepy and I'm resting, and I really am taking it easy, especially, you know, to like heal my crotch region and all that. But it's been really nice to feel like I'm strong again and I am like physically capable. I was talking to Jason, I guess a couple days ago, standing in the living room kind of like this, and he was like, you look ready. You look like you're ready to kick someone's butt. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm just ready to get moving, and I'm excited to have him with me. And already the way we're doing things is he's getting used to it. He's like, oh, we're on the go. So we've nursed on the go a couple times, and he's good at it. And we're good at it as a team. He taught me pretty much everything I know. And, you know, that kind of thing. So, hey, silly. He's in a really funny position. He's like, he's got his hand up by his mouth, and he's like half asleep. But he's been sleeping a lot today, so it's weird for me. Okay, so anyway, he's just been a champ. He's been a champ about everything. But so more postpartum related stuff. So I mentioned in the birth video that I bled a lot after birth. And so I was concerned the first day or two home that something would happen. I would start bleeding a bunch and it would be a big emergency. That didn't happen. I was bleeding just average amounts. I passed one really big blood clot, like the size of a plum, which they said, oh, that's fine as long as you're not passing a lot like that and you're not bleeding worse, and I wasn't. And so you're not supposed to fill up a pad like in less than an hour. If you do that, it's like way too much blood. That's definitely not been happening with me, not even close to the first day. And now I kind of just like, you know, it's just barely. I mean, I'm still bleeding, but it's like definitely like a light period at this point. And because they'd said originally a heavy period, and it was definitely heavier than any period I've ever had, because I don't really have heavy periods. And now it's just a light period. And, you know, and I know I'm still healing because I had 2nd-degree tear, which wasn't much of a thing, and the midwife barely, like, didn't even want to stitch it, but then she realized she should, just because, to see what really was bleeding when I was having all the bleeding happening. So that's been fine, and, like, you know, taking care of that has actually been, that's been less of a thing than I've heard women saying, oh my God, like, that's, like, the worst thing ever. Like, peeing is terrible, pooping is terrible. I haven't experienced that at all. Like, I think the entire time it only burned when I peed once, and that was, like, yesterday, not in the beginning. And actually, when I first came home, the first day, I barely peed a little, but then I couldn't pee for, like, half the day. I couldn't get it to come out, and I was getting nervous, and it felt terrible. And that's a problem, so you're supposed to call. And I just kept trying, and they said, sit on the toilet, use like a spray bottle kind of thing, warm water, that will help, and like do it for like an hour, sit there. And if you can't, and in the next hour, then call us. But I was able to pee. It helped to be in the shower with the warm shower head, like making me want to pee. So that worked. And then after that, I can pee like a champ. And peeing is like so nice. I think just because I couldn't pee for that little bit of time, it was like a terrible feeling. Really kind of a panicky feeling. Ugh. So, but peeing has been fine. And then also people have said that going like pooping is terrible the first time. And that I haven't experienced that either, because I mentioned in other videos, I haven't been constipated at all and had any hemorrhoids during this pregnancy. And I don't have any from the birth either, any hemorrhoids or anything. So I'm just having the poops I was having before, which is really not very solid, which, you know, more solid than when it was when I was pregnant, but not super solid. So it's like a really nice warm up to getting my body moving again. The first day that was really tough to tell if I had to pass gas or poop. That was really tricky. And it was like, oh God, get into the bathroom before I potentially have an accident in my adult diaper. But I mean, that's just the way it is. You just have to laugh at it. It's just funny. I mean, you know, it's going to heal. Your body is just like, whoa, I'm worn out. We did a big old thing. And so you really, you know, just have to just be along for the ride too.